going to complete the Asset Care application. Asset Care is the life insurance-based One America policy that's available to individuals between the ages of 40 and 80. Now we are going to start with the application that is titled Application for Life Insurance in the top left corner of the page. We are going to begin with Section A with some personal information about the first insured. This information includes the name, the age, the birth date, as well as the address of the primary insured. Section B is for the second insured if a spouse is applying for coverage. In Section C, we're going to list specifics about the policy that we are applying for. The specifics include the type of Asset Care policy, either Asset Care 1, which is a single premium policy being funded with non-qualified funds, Asset Care 2, which is a 20-pay policy utilizing a non-qualified annuity. Asset Care 3 is when we fund the plan with a qualified fund such as an IRA, 401k, or a 403b. And Asset Care 4 is in the annual pay policy. Section D is the owner information. If the owner is the insured, this section does not need to be completed. But if the owner is an entity such as a business, this information does need to be included on the application. And finally, the last section of the first page is the beneficiary information. If additional area is needed, please attach another piece of paper with beneficiary information and sign and date the bottom of that page. The next page starts off with Section F, and this asks for information regarding existing long-term care insurance that may be in place. If your client currently does not have a policy, there's no need to complete this information. The next page is the medical information, Section G. At the top of the page, you will need to list the insured's heights and weights, despite if they don't want to list them, and the date they were last weighed. A month will do. We don't need specifics. In the section below, the medical questions are asked. In question 1, it says within the last 10 years. And I need to point out that it does say 10 years. If issues have occurred beyond the past 10 years, please do not include them in the application, as it could have an adverse effect on the underwriting process. On question 2, the questions listed in this area are for the last 5 years. Again, if something happened 17 years ago, it doesn't belong in this area. I'm going to run down and skip to Section 8, which lists the primary care physician's information. Please include this in its entirety, as One America may ask for medical records while underwriting this application. We will also need the reason for the last visit, as well as the date that the insured was seen last. And finally, in question 9, all medications that are currently being used by the insured need to be listed in this section. If there were any yes answers in the questions above, please elaborate in the last box, question 10, on this page. On the next page, we're going to go to Section H at the top. This area needs to be completed if the insured wishes to designate a person in the event of an unintended lapse. Please make sure you have signed as the licensed agent and your agent number is included, only if you want to get paid on this policy. The next page I'm going to go to is the application for annuities. This page only needs to be completed if you are applying for the Asset Care 2 or Asset Care 3 product, as a separate annuity application is needed. Please indicate in the middle of the page if this is qualified or non-qualified money being used, and there are a few signatures that are needed. About 6 inches from the bottom of the page, the proposed annuitant will need to sign, and then at the bottom of the page, they will need to sign again as the owner of the policy. The next page we come to is the Backup Withholding Certification Form. Please sign and date at the bottom of the page. If you do have an interest in a voluntary withholding, please indicate so by checking the box titled Voluntary Withholding. The next page is the Authorization for Disclosure form. and this allows One America to review the insured's medical records. Please have both the applicant as well as the joint applicant sign and date the bottom of the page. The next two pages that we come to are the HIV consent form pages. On the second page, please include an address to have the test results sent to in the event that the results are positive. Please sign and date the bottom of the page. The next page that we come to is the Patriot Act Identification Verification page. Please obtain your client's driver's license or passport and copy down the identification expiration date as well as the number on the ID. There is no need for your client to sign this page, but you as the agent will need to do so in the bottom box. The next three pages that we come to are the Consumer Suitability and Due Diligence Questionnaire. At the top of the page, please indicate that this is a life insurance or annuity application with LTC benefits. In Section 1, please include the owner's personal information. In Section 2, under Household Financial Information, please indicate the annual income, net worth, liquid net worth, tax rate, and annual expenses of the applicants. In the last section on the page, Section 3, please indicate the source of funds being used for the purchase of this policy. On the next page, in Section 4, please indicate if any surrender charges, withdrawal fees, or penalties are due with the purchase of this policy. In Section 5, please indicate the financial objective and risk analysis for the purchase of this annuity. In Section 6, you will need to indicate the reason that this policy was recommended for this client. This section must be completed in order for the application to be processed efficiently. In Section 7, please list the available funds your client has for the purchase of this annuity product. And in Section 8, your client will need to sign and date, and you as the agent will need to sign and date the last section. The last page that I want to turn to is the 1035 exchange form page, or the request of funds transfer form. This page needs to be completed if an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, stocks, mutual funds, or CDs are being used to fund this policy. If you are going to fund this policy with cash, you need to list household financial information, the source of funds being used for the purchase of this product, and if this product meets your client's needs. Only needs to be completed if the insured has an existing long-term care policy in place. The next page is the replacement form, and despite the policy replacing another one or not, this page needs to be completed. The next page that we turn to is the temporary insurance agreement. If you are collecting funds from the insured when you submit this application, please make sure this page is completed and leave a copy of this agreement with your client.